What's up, Facebook? How y'all doing? Let's check our volume and everything else. What's up, everybody? It is time for Mom Chat. And yes, I'm supposed to be on at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, but this hair was in twists. And I was like, we cannot let the world see that. So, what's up? Come on in. Tell me where you're from, what you're drinking on. I got my bottle of water somewhere around here, and I'm connecting Instagram. So, tonight is a piggyback off of last week. Last week, I laid down some goodness. So, if you have been thinking about blogging, you need to go back and watch last week's Mom Chat because I'm trying to get y'all a little bit better situated. Oh, I know what's wrong. The lighting is off because I don't have some natural light. See, I love natural light. Love it, love it, love it. Gotta have natural light. Okay, so last week we were talking about blogging and why it's important to blog, why blogging isn't dead. Don't listen to those folks, and the benefits of blogging, right? Could be for fun, could be, of course, to get your name out there in business, to solidify that you are an expert, where you're creating content that helps somebody, whoever your audience is, right? And a few other things we pointed out. So go back last week and catch it. It was really, really good. Gave a lot more technical advice too, because a lot of the moms had questions, and it was just really, really good. And so one of the things that came up is how people are like incorrectly networking. So when I started out 6 years ago, I didn't introduce myself. Hey. I'm Kaywanda Lamb, the winning single mom. You can find me at kaywandalamb.com, where I blog about all things single parenting. I talk about money. I talk about life as a single mom. I talk about dating, which is one of my favorite things to talk about. So you can catch me talking about money, love, and parenting, right? So what do I help single mothers do? I help you make more money. I help you manage motherhood, because there's some times in there where we're about to lose our minds and folks are driving us crazy, right? And I help you win at life. That's why I'm the winning single mom, because guess what? I believe in winning. If you've been following me for a while, you know I love to say do it anyway. And what does that mean? That means that these trials are going to come. Crap is going to happen. Something's going to go right. Somebody's not going to do their part. And you, the good parent, the one that's left, the one that's looking at those babies saying, hey, we got to make it some kind of way. You're the one that's going to get up and take your family on to the finish line, right? On to winning, because it's in you. And you might need me. You might need some other folks to be resources for you. And that's okay. So that's what we do here. We come every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Standard, and we talk about, leveling up in our businesses, because many of you want to start a business, right? This is what I do. This is a business. I'm an author, speaker, and a coach to single moms, right? And many of you want to start working online, right? Want to start bringing in extra funds. And so I am dedicating time on my Sunday night to talk to you, to give you any kind of tips I can to help you out. And so networking, let me bring in Instagram. Networking is one of those things that helps you in your current career, and also when you're trying to start a business or a side hustle. It's so important, and I wanted to talk about it because people sometimes don't do it right? And I know we've all met those people. So I'm bringing on Instagram because I want them to get this tea. Let's see. There we go. Hey. There we go. What's up, Insta? All right, so we're gonna make this really, really, really quick. If you come on, tell me where you're from, give me a little heart, ask me some questions over there. Tonight is gonna be about how to properly network, and then also ask me anything. So as the winning single mom, if you've got questions about single parenting, right, about dating, about leveling up in career, making more money, side hustling, whatever it is, feel free to pop up your question. I'll be looking and answer them. Okay, so I really wanted to have this conversation piggybacking off of last week when we were talking about why it's important to blog. Okay, and so it came up because I was like, some people, when you're at these conferences and these events, they just fly by you and hand you a business card and they don't even stop and hold a conversation, and I feel like a lot of us see that, and then we try to do it just like that because we're shy, we're afraid, we're scared, we're whatever it is. And maybe you don't think you're worthy. Maybe you don't think your business is there yet, but you're like, I bought these business cards, and so I need to give them to somebody. No, No, you don't need to do it that way. I have friends who think that, hey, business cards are dead and they don't even carry them because they only give their information to certain people or they give them an email. I get it, but I like to have them because you know what? Sometimes there are people who you really need to be in contact with and they look at you and they say, hey, let me have your business card because you had that great conversation. So don't go to events unprepared. Okay. So I will tell you, have some for those people who like to get them. And for the people who are just like, hey, just give me your number, or hey, just give me your email, or hey, reach out to my secretary, depending on who you're talking to, right? And so just be ready. So networking, what is networking? Networking is really all about building relationships. So did you build a relationship with the person who was already talking to somebody? You flew by them, interrupted them, and handed them your business card. You didn't build a relationship. All we did was say, what was that? And we were like, oh, okay, let me hold it so I don't hurt their feelings. And then when I'm near a trash can, I'm going to drop it in there. I hate to tell y'all that, but that's what people do with it. Okay. So I keep business cards. I get them from people that I've made connections with. And then I make a note of where I met them, what this connection is about. And then I try to reach out quickly. Now, back in the day, I was like everybody else, right? I didn't necessarily do the right thing with the business cards. I had them in my little wallet and they would just collect until I had this pile of random business cards of people who I never reached out to, who were cool and who I should have connected with, but I didn't. So networking, that's one of the tiny pieces when you're out talking to people that you can do. It's like your calling card, right? And it should be able to say who you are, what you do, and how they can reach you, right? So they can remember you. But again, networking is all about building relationships. So in order to build a relationship, don't just give somebody in passing your business card. I hate that. Instead, go to these conferences, events, whether it's one of the things you do for your job, whether it's some big annual meeting and you want to talk to the guy who's over the sales department because you're thinking about making a career move. Maybe you want to do a lateral or a vertical, and you want to connect. Well, obviously we need to have meaningful conversation. We don't need to go about it thinking about, oh, what can I get out of this person? You need to be thinking about what you can give. Okay, so that's the number one thing that's going to make people remember you. And I actually learned this from one of my mentors, right? That I've actually always been doing that this way, but I never put a phrase to it. And it really is about giving, right? So a lot of people know, oh, I would like to be on OWN. I would like to have a show on OWN. I would like to, okay, but you can't go straight to Oprah. You got to go through all the other people. And in fact, she probably isn't making all of those decisions. She's hired people who can make those great decisions for her. There's a chain of command. So how do you get to the person who makes the decision, right? Well, you need to learn how to give. And if you're trying to be in TV, obviously you need to be doing things that people who want to be in TV are doing, right? But making the proper connections, reaching out to people properly via email, knowing what to say, going to industry events. I use the Oprah example and I'm like, I'm not really that versed in TV, so let me find another example. But you get what I'm saying, right? You need to know what's the purpose of this event or conference or whatever it is that you're going to, and have an idea of who you would like to connect with, right? And what you want to say to those people, and not let it just be, I'm giving random people my card. I'm having random conversations that don't amount to anything, right? So I like to show up and just be Kaywanda. I like to show up and be nice and have fun and interject in conversations that I know something about, and talk to people that I've, connected with, and we're getting along and we're chatting and it turns into more, right? I don't just go up and say, oh, I want you to do this for me. Can you connect me with such and such? That's crazy. Nobody, like, who are you? I don't know you. I haven't vetted you. I don't know if you're really good at this thing you say you do. You get what I'm saying? It's all about building relationships. So you want to, even if hey, this person is VP of whatever, and I would really like for them to okay this project. You don't come to them and say, this is what I want you to do. You come to them and say, hey, what can I do for you? I mean, you literally need to figure out how can you help other people. And folks remember that, right? And then you kind of, once you've built a relationship, then you can say when you're talking, hey, well, I kind of want to do this thing, and see what they say. And they may not pick up on the fact that you're like, oh, I would like to work with you. So then you have to, you're a grown up. You got to say that. You got to spell it out for them. Does it make sense? And so I'm saying this because I had to learn it. And honestly, the first, I would say, 10 years of my career, I kind of thought networking was bad, right? Because you would see, I grew up in a small town. I worked in a small city. You would see people who were related to folks and they would get jobs just because they're related to people not as qualified as all the other people in the pool, and we all knew it, right? And so that exists. We all know it, right? It exists. It happens. And so from that, I developed this idea that, networking is bad. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, blood, sweat, and tears, work my behind off and show people that I deserve the position. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you're the person that worked your behind off and you still didn't get it. So you've got to learn how to connect. You've got to learn how to say, I actually want the position. I actually want to do this. You got to learn how to be honest with the person that's over you, your manager, and figure out how you can work together to say, okay, I need a plan. Help me with my plan. I'd love for you to talk to me and show me how to navigate my career path. We have to start having those conversations, especially as women. Because, you look at a man and he is going after it, so they have this fearlessness they were born with or given or taught, right? And meanwhile, we're over here being meek and mild sometimes, knowing that we also want to go to the next level, whether it's building our business or in our careers. And so learning how to network is super important. So let's go back to what I said today. Build good relationships, okay? Get to know people. Hold great conversations, be memorable, right? Be honest, be a great person. Don't do it trying to just get to the next level, trying to use people. That's not what it is, right? Build real relationships, give value, okay? Learn how to add something to those people because they're going to remember you. And it's so much easier to ask somebody for something when you've given them something, right? So point in case, when I was first starting out, I have family and friends who, don't operate in the online world. And I've been a digital marketer for 6 years. I've learned how to market online for the past 6 years, right? And so they see, me in some paper, or they see me, on flyers, they see me speaking at these conferences and all this stuff. And they're like, oh my gosh, you've made it. Connect me with such and such. And I'm like, okay, I know that person, but I don't know that person enough to say, I'm going to put you in contact with this person because, again, it's my name that's on the line. And I know me. I know I've been doing the work. I know I'm busting my behind. I know I give value. But I'm also looking at my cousin, my family, whoever it was, friend, whatever it is. And I'm saying, yeah, you haven't done the work to have that connection. I mean, I'm being honest. And so sometimes I think we get upset when we ask somebody to connect us to the next level and they don't do it. But could it be that we actually have some work to do that we need to do? So to be honest with you guys, when I first started out, oh, honey, I just knew, listen, give me my own TV show. I'm ready, honey. Let's go. I've actually had 2 opportunities to do so. And they were amazing opportunities. I really wish they had worked out. But, truth be told, I wasn't ready. But you know what? Holla at your girl right now. She's ready. And sometimes we don't get the things we want in the way that we thought we would get them. So you know what we have to do instead? We have to learn how to create our own lane. And so online, you get to put out what it is you want people to know about you. You get to create what you want in the world. You get to have the conversations that you want to have. And that's why I'm so excited about my podcast that's coming out. So excited. And all those wonderful people that I've met over the years, I get to interview them and you get to hear wisdom from them to help you in starting your business. And so I could sit back and say, I'm just going to wait and let other people do it. And I'm just going to let other folks have a podcast. And I'm just going to write books and coach a little bit. No, it's been a dream of mine to have my own podcast since before 2015. I went to Podcast Movement in 2015, met Pat Flynn, humongous fan of Pat Flynn. He's an amazing podcaster, multimillionaire, multi-million earning podcast, super amazing, gives awesome value, crazy value every time. And I try to do that as well. So hopefully y'all are getting some good stuff from these mom chats. And got to meet him, and he was just so awesome and kind, and lots of other folks back then. But when I had published my book, I published the first book at the end of 15. And so one of my friends was like, I know you feel like you're ready. And she was a podcaster already. And she was like, you're not ready. And I was like, but I want to do it. She was like, you need to do this first. And she was right. She was right. So I hope this scenario that I'm giving you makes sense. Here it is, what, 4 years later, now I really have time. Now I'm really ready. Does that make sense? Now I know how to put it together and everything that's involved in the back end of developing a podcast. And, I've made the connections and the awesome folks who are just like, absolutely, yes, girl, I will be your guest. And y'all gonna love it. Y'all gonna love it. But what I'm saying is sometimes we think we're ready when we really need to develop. So when you're out networking and you're making those connections, keep developing the relationships. You never know when the time will be right, but you have to make the relationship. You have to make the first move. So, and this is an example. In 2017, I went to this blogging conference called Blogalicious, and I've interviewed one of the founders, Stacey Ferguson. She's absolutely amazing. Such a boss. And at the time, I already was just crazy about her. She was just amazing, puts out excellent content, great value, and has this amazing event for multi-passionate entrepreneurs, multicultural. And I was sitting at a table. I saw two ladies. It was maybe like 2 or 3 ladies at the banquet table. We were in, I think, the Hilton in Miami. And I had just such an amazing time. Mom vacay, okay? And hanging out. And I like to look at a room and walk in and see who is sitting by themselves and go over and introduce myself. And those ladies weren't sitting by themselves because they couldn't sit anywhere else. I later found out they were just sitting by themselves because they're like, we just feel like sitting here. It was an open table. And they were actually representatives for Coca-Cola. Listen, y'all talking about wanting to be bloggers, y'all talking about wanting to get online and build a brand. And, you have to have a strategy. So I honestly didn't have much of a strategy going there. But this is what I mean. When you go places, making connections, getting to really know people and building relationships. And so I knew that I wanted to see all my blogger boos. That was one of my main things. I was so excited to finally be in the place with lots of folks I've been friends with online for years. And we were going to see each other and have a good time. And we did. We had the most fun. And then I knew I was going to meet other people to add to my tribe. And I did, right? Who I'm still connected with today. So check on those 2 things. But I really didn't have anything else in mind past that point. But I always go to conferences and events to get ideas. I'm paying attention to how things are run. Stacey is the queen of sponsorships, and she had Coca-Cola there. She had Kia there. It was amazing. I took a test drive. I did a video for Kia. It was awesome. And they had everybody doing little videos if you did a test drive. And it was just an amazing, amazing time. And I was just like, am I about to go home and buy a Kia? The Kia was so fabulous. You hear me? And so, but what I'm doing is I'm paying attention because I know I host events. And one day I want to have a humongous conference. So I need to be paying attention to how it's run. I need to be connected with somebody who's done it 10 times and more. And she's so giving and so amazing. I've invested in her by purchasing her course, right? And I'm saying this to you because a lot of times we want to meet people and we want to just get everything we can, want to soak it up for free. Sometimes we have to invest, right? And I knew that she had what I needed. And so anyway, but the point of that story was going to Miami, sitting at that table and not knowing who I was sitting with, getting into conversation. And one of the ladies was like, well, one of the things that I do for Coca-Cola is I help them get connected with micro influencers. So I have probably a reach of 20,000 moms, right? Across all my social media, blogging, all this stuff connected, right? That's my reach right about now. We know one day the Lord gonna bless us to explode that number all over the world, because that's my desire, is to reach single mothers all over the world and help them know that they can live a winning life, honey. And that's why I talk about the 3 areas, because those are those 3 areas that impact us: our money, right? Our parenting skills, right? And when we want to get back into relationships. I've had to do all of those things and I like to share my knowledge. So I'm sitting there, I'm talking to them, we're having a great time. The food was delicious. Stacey is amazing at picking great venues, great food for us, great sponsors, just awesome. And I'm talking to the lady and she's like, well, this is what I do for Coca-Cola. And listen, Linda, you understand? You better believe I had my cards ready. So what am I saying to you? I'm saying, know what you want to do. when you go to conferences and events, and be prepared. So I wasn't trying to make the connection, but I made the connection. And she told me, and I went right on home. Yes, I did. She was like, oh yeah, we sponsor events, we do this, we do that. I went right on home. I sure did. And I absolutely applied. Now I didn't get it for them to sponsor anything of mine, but I could keep on applying and keep on doing, because it's so good that they do that in the community, especially for nonprofits, right? And then they also help for-profits, but you got to make the connections. You got to make the connections. And you say, Kaywanda, how do I do that? I'm telling you to show up as your authentic self, to be a giver, to have conversations with people, to authentically connect, and then to know what kind of value you can add to them. And later on, whenever later is, and when the time is right, and you feel like you can make an ask. And so I literally, Pamela Booker of Coils by Nature, my first big brunch and love that I did in Plano, Texas, I host a relationship soiree called Brunch and Love. And I love brunch and I love talking about love, right? Who doesn't want a boo in their life? And at some point, right, but I went through my stages in life where I wasn't dating. And then I was like, oh, I'm ready to date again. So let me get out here, test the waters, did a little online dating and some offline dating. And ended up dating a guy for 3 years. And that didn't work out because I realized that, hey, this was great, but this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing forever with. And I know that, right? Because I know me and I know what my spirit is telling me, and this ain't it, right? You got to be willing to release and let some things go so you can get your greater. Make sense? And so I started having these conversations. I did a course called Dating Confidence because I realized I had to, re-up on my confidence when I started dating after, raising my kids, and they were so little, and getting my feet wet back into the dating scene. And I realized a lot of women that were coming to me were having issues with that in coaching. And so I created a course around it and a coaching package. And so then I decided, oh, well, I want to host events. I want to really get women in the room. I want to really help them break through some of these mindset blocks. And I want to really challenge them on why they're not dating and what it is that they believe. And I want to really have some amazing experts in the room for them. And then also I'm going to do some coaching because, we're going to lay it down just like that. I love to do it. And I was like, but I need sponsors. So I was having this conversation with Pamela Booker of Coils by Nature. We're all in this, same group. We know some of the same people. She's really good people. She is a former single mom. She used to do Black Biz Scope. And we got connected that way and really started connecting and hanging out. And she was like, you can ask me. And I was like, I can ask you. And she was like, people do it all the time. And so I was like, well, get ready, honey, because I'm about to send you my sponsorship deck. And I'm about to ask you for some money and some products. And she sponsored our first Brunch and Love in Plano, Texas. And I had Derek Jackson on the panel, who was amazing. I had another fabulous relationship coach by the name of Jake Hurt on the panel. And I had a good friend of mine, Mr. Tyron Spear, who is an amazing digital marketer. Dude is cold-blooded, but he has this amazing insight about Black women. He loves the culture. And all of my sisters are welcome. All my Asian, Hispanic, Caucasian sisters are welcome. But, sometimes y'all don't come to events. We get it. You welcome. Sometimes y'all don't come out. You welcome. I'm inviting you to my very next one. But so we had, a bunch of Black women in the room. We had Black guys on the panel. And that was my idea. I wanted women in the room to hear what men really think, right? But I wanted to put good men in front of them. And so that was my first insight into really connecting. And she helped me through that process of reaching out to more sponsors. And so then the next one came and I tapped into my network again. Second time, I had it in DC. I tapped into my network. One of my mentors, Mr. Paul Carrick Brunson, made sure we had the space we needed because he sits on the board of a university in DC. God bless him. We were able to have a space we didn't have to pay for. He also spoke on the panel. And then we had one of the ladies from his matchmaking agency there, G. Saunders, who is fabulous, who was laying out so much practical wisdom. It was ridiculous. I was like, I'm slaying. Oh, I don't even have to do my part because y'all slaying me right now with this knowledge. It was so good. And so Pamela, I invited her to be on the panel. She also sponsored that time as well. And then I wanted everybody to hear her experience being a young single mom, going into the military, coming back out, working in the government, and then leaving it all to start her own business, which she's been doing now, I think going on maybe 10 years now, and it's doing very well, super successful. But, hearing these women's stories, the grind, right? Talking about love, talking about self-love, talking about getting back out there and dating. It was so important for us to be in that space. So much healing happened. I mean, and I was never prepared for the crying that women would do and the breaking free and the, just all of that. And so we also had Troy Spry on, who is an amazing young man married to the love of his life, great father. He's written some amazing books. I've interviewed him for the podcast, and y'all are going to love it. So I'm sharing this story so you can see how relationships I built previously then came in handy. And because I serve those people, I've purchased products from Pam way before I ever thought about asking her to sponsor. I'm just like, hey, let me get your products. I got natural hair. Let me see how it works. Works great, right? Just wanting to give, supporting, sharing her products, sharing when she's doing something, with my network. And this is what I'm saying. We have to learn how to be givers and to really, get into the mix of connecting. That's a really lost art. And so when it was time for me to have, my brunch and love that I had last year, I had interviewed Mahisha Dellinger in, I think 16, it was 16 or 17. On the blog, I did this series called The Successful Single Mom. And I actually met Mahisha, again, sitting at the wrong table. Listen, y'all better learn. Fooled around, walked into this brunch that Curls was putting on. And I love Mahisha so much. I was like a VIP ticket for 40 something bucks. I was like, why is all of Dallas not here? Beautiful event space, totally catered to the tea, amazing food. And I was like, okay, so your tickets didn't make you any money. You didn't upsell us on anything today. How do you make money? It wasn't about making money. It was about having that space for women to come and learn, right? And she does this Curls brunch, and she does it with natural hair. There's this lady, I can't remember her name now. I'm gonna have to remember later. But they kind of partnered, and she always sponsors it. And it was just so good. I met so many amazing women. So I bought a VIP ticket, and it was the right table. It was the VIP table, but I ended up sitting on the side with all the panelists, not paying attention and not knowing who all the panelists were. And so I did do my homework and look ahead. Mistake number one. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sitting on the wrong side. And I was like, let me move. And she was like, no, stay seated, girl. So I ended up talking to all these fabulous ladies. I see some of my blogger boos and friends, and we are all connecting, having a good time. And then the panel was just fire right after that. And I said to her, I was like, I really want to interview you. Because as she was giving her spiel, she talked about being a single parent, growing up, in California, living between two worlds, really on the poverty side here. And then when she would go stay with her dad, more middle class, upper middle class. And she wrote a book called From the Projects to the Penthouse, I think is what it's called. And just a fabulous lady, such a giver. And she was like, yeah, perfect. And I'm not sure if I asked her there. I probably did ask her there, but I know for sure I reached out to her. And I told her what I did, and I would like to interview her. Set it all up, get on the phone with this lady, multimillionaire. And when I tell you we're having the most amazing conversation, I'm frantically writing notes, listening to her talk. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to take up too much of your time. She's like, oh no, we can do this all day. This is da-da-da. Listen, Linda, all kinds of tea dropped in that phone call. And so, and I didn't put two and two together. I didn't think about asking her to sponsor an event. And then I've gone to all the events that I see that they have. There's a natural hair expo that happens every year in October. I go, I buy, her products. I go to the store, I buy her products. I try to use all my natural hair friends products, right? And support people, because these are Black women who built businesses, who, businesses need money to survive and to sustain, right? So really putting that out into the earth, really making sure that they're able to feed their families and that goodness comes back to you, right? Plus I want to try the products for my hair. And so I thought, let me reach out to her and see if she would want to sponsor Brunch and Love. And I was really trying to get her to speak, and she had just done her show on OWN with Oprah. And we were in talks about that, and I know she was about to have a crazy, crazy fall, so we couldn't get that worked out. But she sponsored. And when I say this lady sent me all these heavy boxes, so my mail lady at the place where I have, all my business mail and stuff goes, she's like, you have some really heavy boxes here. I was like, really? Because I just asked for, I get there, this lady has done us up. Do you hear me? Done us up. The moms at the brunch were so excited and so thankful. And there was a mom who was dealing with cancer. She told her story, in and out, and, just a walking miracle. And there were so many women, the relationship space is, there's some people who will tell you what you want to hear. And, I like to challenge you. I like to challenge you to deal with your stuff too. Because a lot of times we're sitting back and we are hiding because of fear. And fear of getting hurt, fear of picking the same kind of person. And I like to kind of challenge all of that. And I like to say, so what? If you see it again, you know how to cut it off and try something different, And so they had all these goodie bags, and I had some amazing ladies. So if y'all notice, I like to switch it up because, I don't like to do the same thing all the time. So my first event, I had all men. The next one, I had men and women. And the last one last year, I had just women. So I tapped some of my local ladies here in Dallas to come, and we had a phenomenal time. It always goes over because there's just so much transformation happening in the room. And I want everybody to kind of get what they came for, more than what they came for. And so it's always, always, always good. Okay, so I shared those stories of how me connecting with people just from the heart, just having good conversation, making great connections, telling somebody what I do, asking them what they do, seeing if there's some synergy, how can we work together, how can I help you, how can I support you, right? And not coming in with that negative energy, not coming in trying to, how some people are trying to climb ladders and they'll step over everybody. That's not what I'm talking about. Networking is about building relationships. Build relationships. And if you take care of people and they're the right kind of people, then they won't mind helping you out. And so I just give Mahisha amazing kudos. I'm constantly, telling her how proud of her I am, and thankful that she keeps giving back to the community. There are a lot of women out there doing that, and it's just so good to watch. And I really believe that because of that, that's how you keep getting your blessings, right? So one of the things that I like to do is to try to, put down something good into the world. And I hope that you've picked up something tonight as we talked about networking. So those ladies that I mentioned are just amazing Black women. And there are a lot, if you look on Instagram, there are a lot out there trying to build and also giving back. So, when you see people like that, support them, support the ones who are getting started. It doesn't hurt us, especially if we have disposable income and we're at happy hours and we're eating out for lunches and we're throwing money here and we don't know where it went. You see somebody up and coming, support them just a little bit. It doesn't hurt. All right. So anybody got any questions? If you don't have any questions, I have been burning the midnight oil. I've been building the Single Mom Success Academy frantically because I want it to be amazing for you guys. And I told y'all that it would launch in July. I'm now thinking I want to do August 15th because I want to have everything in there for my moms who are ready to just kind of get after it, that those step-by-step things that you need to know to build a business online will be in there for you. And it's going to be, again, linear because I don't want you hopping all over the place because they will be confused and talking like, hey, Wanda, this isn't working. No, baby, you need to do the steps. So do steps, right? And so I'm super excited because it's going to be economic and it's something that I want to really change the world. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this kind of knowledge from a business major, right? And a Spanish major. I've been to college 5 times. There's an MA behind my name. One day it'll be a PhD just for fun. And so when people say, how did you get into this? Well, it kind of makes sense because I'm a business management major, right? And I've always been studying entrepreneurship. And I have a business where I teach entrepreneurs Spanish. And one day y'all will be like, I remember her, right? Because we're going to be global. But we're working on that too. But in the meantime, listen, we gotta work on the levels that we're on. So on the level that you're on, do what you can do. Keep pushing, keep building, keep pushing, keep building, and work your plan. Hey, hey, hey. Well, hey, Mari, Veronica, girl, you're going to have to catch the replay. We've been talking about networking, so I'll sum it up for you guys, right? So author, two-time author, speaker. I've spoken around the U.S. I create my own events. I also speak at church conferences and other places. If you want to have an amazing transformational speaker that's going to get your ladies and your gents energized, invigorated about their passion, about their destiny, right? About what they can do at home to level up, then you need to hire me, right? And I coach single mothers like you, amazing ladies out here watching. And so I've been talking about how to properly network. Tonight, just to sum it up real quick, we talked about networking is building relationships. And we need to know that this is the long game. And the long game is just showing up and being who you are authentically and hopefully giving back to people before you're asking. One of my mentors, Paul Carrick Brunson, who I mentioned earlier, who was so kind to speak on my panel in DC for my event, and then also to get us the event space. And that school is so amazing. It's BAU, they're amazing people there, and they have some great programs and scholarships they're always giving away to help folks get their MBAs and lots of other degrees. Really, really, really good school. And so, shoot, I thought about going back for the 6th time, okay? And so, what was I gonna say? Oh, and he says that you should always give, then ask, right? And so that's exactly the way that I did it. So for years, he's been a mentor of mine. I've just really admired his work, love him and his wife. And I just, wherever I could, I would give. I would support him by coming to his events, paying, right? Listening, telling other people about him, sharing, encouraging, just giving, a whole circle of us, right? And then he needed an ambassador for his TV show. He had a TV show year before last that came out. It was called Help I Need Love. It was all about helping single mothers find love. He had worked with them for a year, 3 ladies, and he followed them around. And then this was going to be the culmination of that footage, that transformation. It was so good. It aired on ABC. And he had this idea to market it differently. He didn't want to do traditional media. He wanted to use, guess what? His network of all these entrepreneurs, bloggers, creatives, business owners, digital marketers, all these people they knew, around across different industries. And I was going to be the person that led the ambassador group. And so what we did is we got together and I would form these focus groups for him of single mothers, right? We'd all get on a call so he could learn more about our plight. And I'm telling you, it was powerful. I mean, I honestly need to look back and see if I recorded those, because those were powerful little moments. I wouldn't share them because ladies were giving their, sharing their real stories. But I need to look back and just listen. It was so good. And so I did that for him. I was like, well, I think this is how it should go. And so as he's doing this, I'm kind of the expert at this thing, right? I'm the expert at this thing. So I'm telling him kind of, how to help these moms. He didn't need help on how to help them or how to coach them, just some insight into kind of what could be some of the issues. And so all of us listening kind of gave him more perspective. And, so then I ran this group of 300 people from around the world. We have people in the group from Ireland and Spain. And this year, one of the ladies from the group from Ireland, she's already invited me to an event that she's going to be at in the US when she comes later this year. And I am beyond excited. So I'm sharing this to say, give. He asked me, I was honored. I did it. In 10 days, we connected everybody, grabbed all of the folks we knew all together. And I think we were trending like number 3 on Twitter that night from that show. Because we were killing social media. I mean, just massively sharing with the world this goodness. It was really so good. And so that night I had a watch party. One of the ladies here in Dallas, we had a watch party at her house. There were other watch parties around the US. It was just magical. It was amazing. And because of my work with him and helping to put together that ambassador group, another lady reached out and she was like, I want you to do the same thing for me that you did for Paul. And I was like, I don't know if it will be exactly the same, but I'll be willing to help, right? And Paul later was like, Kaywanda, I mean, I don't think we slept. I don't think any of us slept. And I still was working as an educator. So I would go and do my regular job, show up, be awesome and amazing, because I don't believe in shortcutting. Okay. I believe in being 100. And then we'd be on it. We'd be on it, reaching, connecting, sharing, because he was interviewing all of these influencers, friends, creatives, everybody who had small audiences, big audiences. It didn't matter, because the way we were driving everybody toward watching the show was via social, and had never been done before. It was amazing, amazing, amazing. And just crazy when I was looking at the numbers of people that we reached. And honestly, as I'm talking, I need to do more of that. Right. I need to do more of that for myself. But it was so magical and so amazing. And the point of this is how he enlisted his network. And then I enlisted my network. And then my network enlisted their network. And it was all around a cause that we all believed in. And we also believed in him. That's you get what I'm saying? It's important. So when you're asking somebody for something, they need to know who you are. They need to have vetted you, and they need to trust you, right? And so you can't go to people you don't know that you just met and give them this big ask. It's not going to happen. So again, knowing how to nurture and build relationships. So later on, after all that happened and we were on this amazing high, and I didn't get a chance to watch this video, Paul was like, I'm going to send this video to you, and then you send the video to everybody else. And I was like, okay. So I had even posted it and shared it with everybody else in the group, and I hadn't watched the video. Listen, I'm sure I slept 24 hours after we got through all this, because we were working our behinds off. And I was listening to it, and then I was like, okay, all right. So he just, talked about how awesome this was, encouraged everybody, talked about hopefully ABC releases the next 2 episodes. We're going to do it all again. And ABC didn't do it. But we sure would like to see them, because that first one was so good. And I heard him say, and Kaywanda, and I was like, did he call my name? Let me go back and listen. And this dude says, I'm inviting everybody to my retreat that I'm doing in Barbados, this retreat that I'm speaking at, because it was another lady's event that he was going to be the keynote speaker at, but then he was going to do his own mastermind day for everybody in his tribe in Barbados, and later that year. And then he was like, and Kaywanda, you're going to go for free. Now, keep in mind, I done had this video probably 24 hours. I done posted it for other people, and people are like, oh, congratulations, girl. And I'm just like, okay, thank you. I'm glad everybody's congratulating me for being an amazing ambassador. And they wanted to give me an all expense paid trip to Barbados. And let me tell you, honey, they put me up well. It was amazing. Had the time of my life. It was beautiful down there. And if you've never been in a mastermind, I love masterminds. It's collectively pushing you to the next level in your business. And that's part of the reason why I have 3 businesses. It's Mr. Paul Carey Brunson. He's like, you need to focus on Spanish. But y'all, my passion as well. And I can't let y'all be over here without what you need. Okay. So that's why I have 3. And so I get there. We have this amazing time. And the hot seat is where they put you there. They ask you tough business questions. They challenge you. And I was just like, really, this how you gonna do me? After all I've done for you this year, this how you gonna do me? You gonna have me on this hot seat looking crazy? But if you have the chance to ever be in a mastermind, or to even collectively work with friends who are really trying to push and go to the next level, join them and do it. It was amazing. So those stories that I told tonight are all from me networking well. Networking well, not looking at people, ooh, how can I get to know them so they can one day sponsor my event? It was not even on my mind. But later on down the line, after building connections and building that network and showing up and supporting and giving value, and them seeing, oh, she really does do this, and she really does show up like this, she really does cause transformation, she really is serious about this, let's support her. Amazing, amazing, amazing. All right, so take those tips, make a list of people you would like to network with, right? Look at your current situation and don't say, you know what, I can't get ahead at this job. Because sometimes I feel like that in education. I really do. I feel like that sometimes. I have to remind myself that I serve the God of the universe, and he has doors planned that he's going to open for me that I can't even imagine, right? And so sometimes we're trying to yank on it And he's just saying, hold up a second, and I'll just open it for you, right? And so just know to revisit your plan. Make sure you have a plan for your life, that there's somewhere you want to go and something that you want to do, because that's the only way you're going to get to the better, right? You got to kind of see it. So if you can't see it, start working on the vision, right? And then start thinking, who can I network with? Or what are the events, what are the conferences, the workshops that I need to attend? Do I need more formal education? Do I need to do some online certifications? What is it? What's the next step for you, right? And be working on that and connecting with people. Don't say, hey, Kaywanda, do you do any mentoring? I do coaching. I coach people so that we can see some clear results and you can get to the next level. That I do, that I have time for. And I love it, and I love it, and I love mentoring, right? But I do not have a whole bunch of time to do so because I'm in the building stage of many things, right? And so I think we have to kind of recognize when we're asking people to give so much of them, and we have to learn how to give first, right? So there are people who I call mentors, but remember, I just explained to you how and I couldn't tell it all, but give, then ask. So remember to walk away with that. All right. So networking is building relationships, really good relationships. Next time you get a business card, after you've had a great conversation with somebody, follow up with them so they can remember who you are, where you met them at, right? Every now and again, send them something, every now and again, send an email, kind of remind them, kind of say, hey, this is my area of focus. If your company is looking for something like this, definitely let me know. I'd like to try out for the opportunity, whatever it is, right? Keep connected. And that's something that we don't do. And that's something that most of us need to work on, right? And start organizing that information. If it really truly is somebody that you're like, I'm not going to, sometimes I'll give a person their card back. I'm like, sweetie, thank you. But I have a person that I use, so I don't want to take your card knowing, but I really appreciate you and I'm wishing you so much success. I went to a business conference last year here in Dallas, this big, huge small business expo. And this girl really just walked up to me and my friend. She gave us her card, said she was a photographer, walked off. And I was just like, So we saw her later. And I was like, sweetie, this is how I want you to network. I want you to have some confidence. She was a little young, Black young lady. And we were just really trying to encourage her. And so she really received that information, and I pray that she implemented it and she's doing great. But I was like, yeah, just pause and talk to the people, strike up a conversation. I said, because I actually, need photos, right? For my blog, I need photos for myself. I need lifestyle photos, and I need to see, we were like, what's your website? And she was like, I don't have one. Okay, now listen, you can't be a photographer now, telling people you're a photographer and we can't go see some of your work. At least have your Instagram up and, show us what you can do. Because, again, people need somebody like you. What are your rates? Where can we find you? So have all of that ready. And we're going to talk about all of that in the Single Mom Success Academy. I'm so excited. Yes. Okay, so I've been on this thing and I haven't taken a sip of water. So I'm gonna, like my grandfather, somebody come get this phone. Listen. He was like, I done had it. Y'all can have it. It's enough. So I enjoy coming on talking to you guys. I thank you all over Instagram and on Facebook who joined me today. I pray I've dropped some nuggets and some knowledge for you. And remember, you can find me at kaywandalamb.com. I'm always trying to drop some wisdom every day during the week for you, some reminders. On Monday, when we talk about Motivation Monday. On Tuesday, we do Mom Tip Tuesday. Wednesday is Winning Wednesday, right? And then Thursday is our Thankful Thursday. Friday is Finance Friday, where we got to get those money tips, right? Those budgets and those coins together. And Saturday is Self-Care Saturday. Today is Sunday, is Soulful Sunday. I'm always reminding you to worship and pray and, prepare for the week, look ahead to see kind of what's going to be the demands, because, life happens. So the least you can do is prepare for the stuff that is going to happen, right? And so I have a few more weeks off for the summer, and I use those to build my future. Does that make sense? So I want us to start taking some of our time and putting it towards the dreams that we have in our heart, so we can affect the people that God has called us to affect, and we can impact our families, okay? Because keep it real, let's be very clear. I do this to help you all because there's a burden in my heart to do it. And I also want to make sure my boys listen, have everything they need when I am no longer here, right? Does that make sense? And that's the right of every good parent. We have a right to provide for our families, right? We have a right as business owners to earn an honest living, right? To get paid for the transformation we put out into the world, for the goods and services that we provide. And I keep saying this to you because as you are beginning to build, the mindset shift is going to have to happen. It's going to have to happen. It's going to have to happen. Right? And so I'm hoping that you're picking up what I'm putting down. All right. So come see me at kaywandalamb.com. I pray you have an amazing Sunday evening. Thank you again for tuning in, and share this with somebody who you know needs it, how to network properly. Right? And so give, and then ask. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye, Instagram. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this all together. I'm gonna have to start using Live Leap so we could just do everybody all together. But Facebook, I hope y'all enjoyed this today. I hope it's been a blessing. Listen, if you have questions on the replay, post them down there. I'll come back and answer them. Really want you to start thinking about who you can network with this week. What's the next conference or event or workshop that you're signed up for? And then to really kind of develop a strategy about who you're going to meet that's in that room, even if it's like, hey, I want to meet 5 new people, right? And then develop a system to keep in touch with those 5 new people, right? All right. So God bless you. I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks for tuning in.